Hi, I'm Richard Herskowitz, one of the programmers of this year's Flaherty Seminar. And as preparation for the film program that Louis and Messiah and I have arranged for the seminar, we're asking you to look at a website devoted to the film The March by James Blue. We'd like to have this film as a shared point of reference when we talk about the films we'll be screening. The March, which is about the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, screened at the 1964 Flaherty Seminar. This was one of the few times the film was shown in the U.S., since it was produced by the U.S. Information Agency, and by law, USIA films could only be shown abroad. That restriction wasn't lifted until 1986. In 2008, the film was added to the Library of Congress's National Film Registry. On the website, you can watch the complete 32-minute film. And then I suggest you also check out the Q&A with director James Blue from the 1964 Flaherty Seminar. It's worth listening to, but you can also download and read the transcript. There's much more background to the film on this site, and you can dive in as deeply as you like. The site was compiled by Professor David Frank of the University of Oregon, and it's part of the larger James Blue Project, which is a research group that I coordinate. James Blue is a filmmaker who made a big impact at Flaherty seminars in the mid 1960s. He died in 1980 at just 49 years old. And people I met at the Flaherty seminar when I started going in the mid 80s, Gerald O'Grady and Johan van de Kuiken in particular, kept bringing him up to me. Blue worked in a wide variety of styles. He made a neo-realist feature film in Algeria called The Olive Trees of Justice that won the Critics' Prize at Cannes in 1963. He made an ethnographic film called Kenya Baran with David McDougall, and an essay film called A Few Notes on Our Food Problem that's influenced many film essayists, including Tom Anderson. And his last couple of films were community video productions. This film, The March, is made in the traditional mode of government productions, going back to the FSA films of Père Lorentz and others in the 1930s with voice of God narration. The USIA has been called the Hollywood of documentary films because its filmmakers were given expensive 35 millimeter equipment and multiple film crews to work with. One of the disadvantages of 35 millimeter, of course, was that it was bulky and not conducive to verite style filmmaking. But one of the advantages is that the best footage of the 1963 March on Washington comes from this film, and you have undoubtedly seen images from the march many times because it's in the public domain and has been appropriated in countless films and TV programs addressing the March on Washington and Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. We'll talk about this more at the Flaherty Seminar, where Louis and I will show other films related to this one, but please check out the website ahead of time, and I'll see you at the Flaherty.